Outdoors Queensland respectfully acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands where we gather right across the state and across Australia. We pay respect to elders past, present and emerging, and any First Nations people who might be joining us today. We acknowledge the important roles that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples play on the land, sky and waterways used for outdoor activities. I'm in Brisbane, or Meanjin on Yagara country. And if you'd like to, you can pop in the chat the place and the country you're joining from today. And we also acknowledge funding provided by the Queensland Government that supports outdoor activities right across Queensland. So, welcome to another session of Coffee and Conversation. My name's Dom Courtney. I'm the Executive Officer of Outdoors Queensland. Our Operations Manager, Mark Squires, is my co-host for today's session. We're helping as we go along. I'd like to welcome all members of Outdoors Queensland, plus any others who are joining us, including reps from interstate organisations. I'm not sure if we've got any of our Corf board members here, but I just saw Kathy Crittenden from Girl Guides Queensland. Are you joining us from the other side of the world, Kathy?
Yep, I am. I'm over in the UK, up in the cold north, except it's not too cold.
The cold north in summer, and we're in our freezing winter, Kathy. You'd hate it right now. It's like windy and terrible outside. Just sunny, beautiful.
We had a terrible 28 degrees and sunshine today.
Oh, nice. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I think Kathy gets the prize for the most remote from where I am standing right now, I think. So, yeah, but it's good we can all be together. This is, I think, our 13th or 12th episode of Coffee and Conversation for 2021. I'm starting to lose track, but as you all know, June is quickly slipping away, so welcome. I've done a little bit of a change. The regular attendees might notice a bit of a change in format. We've split the agenda into some recurring topics and new topics. I'll just go through those recurring topics. A lot of them are really just reminders of things that we've discussed previously. So first and foremost, the Outdoors Queensland Awards, our nominations are open right now. So please have a think about nominating a person or an organisation or an event for an award or awards. You can submit multiple nominations. We'd really like to see plenty of great nominations to reflect the really good things that are going on in the outdoors. So yeah, please have a look at that one if you get a chance. And nominations are open until August, but it's always good to get in early and have a look at the nominations rather than leaving them until the end of that time. So fortunately, I'm not a judge, so I can encourage as many nominations as possible to make the judge's decision as hard as possible when they're making their decisions about the finalists and also the winners. So that's part of my gig, to make their job hard, and I need you guys to help me with that by putting in nominations for the terrific things people have been doing. I just wanted to flag too the Active Queenslanders forums that's being run by Active Queenslanders Industry Alliance. I'm on the board, and so is Christy of AQIA. Those forums, in the last fortnight, they held forums in Ipswich, Brisbane North, Moreton Bay and Redlands. And in July, they're hitting the road to Cairns, Townsville, Yeppoon and Gladstone. And then they'll be running forums on the Sunshine Coast and Brisbane South in August. So they're all free, and there's some really good information at those forums. They run a session for professionals in the outdoors and fitness and sport areas, and then they run another session specifically aimed at volunteers on the same day. So check that out on their website. Mark's just shared the link there to that. So unfortunately, Kathy, there's not one in the north of England, but they might be doing an online version of that later on too. There's talk about that. So I'll let you know if that is going to happen. The other one, just on the COVID safety, there hasn't been any changes regarding the industry plan status. It's same status quo, I guess, as per a fortnight ago. Outdoor recreation providers don't have to follow the approved industry plan anymore for outdoor activities. but there also haven't been any changes to the approved COVID safe plan for outdoor ed providers. But we will let everyone know if there are any changes. We'll put out bulletins, and we might even do a special session to discuss any changes if we need that in the meantime. So yeah, I just wanted to flag that we haven't had any updates or anything from Queensland Health or Sport and Rec since a fortnight ago. Not for a lack of asking and seeking updates, but yeah, I think there's been certain things going on interstate, particularly, I think, that might have our friends at Queensland Health with their hands full as far as Victoria and now New South Wales as well. So yeah, hopefully that'll settle down and they can get back to looking after us. The other one, sorry, is there any questions as we go along? Please either pop it in the chat or just put your hand up too. The Coffee and Conversation review, we're looking at the format and scheduling, but haven't made any decisions about changes to this other than this little tweak to our agenda, I suppose. So just wanted to go through that. But those new topics we've got on the screen there, we've got a couple of guest speakers today. Michelle from Parkinsons Queensland, and also Laurie Mode from Outdoors New South Wales ACT to talk to us about, Laurie's going to talk to us about the National Outdoor Ed Conference. We'll have Andrew Morgan from Scouts Queensland join us for our session in a fortnight. He was going to join us today, but we've moved that one to in a fortnight because Andrew's been a little bit unwell, so we thought we'd give him a bit of time to recover. So, and I've also just want to share this safety bulletin that's come out about ropes and challenge courses. So I just want to discuss that as well as we go through, but we'll come to that. So I'd like to hand over to Laurie Mode from Outdoors New South Wales and ACT to give us a bit of an update on NOEC, or National Outdoor Education Conference. I try not to use too many acronyms, but Laurie, you can fire away, and I'll hand over to you, Laurie. And yeah, look at that. The countdown is on. Thanks,
the
Laurie.
countdown is on. So in case you can't read that, it's 102 days, 1 hour, 55 minutes, 10 seconds to NOEC. And yeah, it's certainly going to be a great event. For those that may not know of the event, this is the 21st National Outdoor Education Conference that's occurred. Quite timely in the fact that it's 21 in 2021, but it's not held every year, it's held every couple of years, but this was the first time. Obviously it hasn't been held for 3 years due to that little C word. So basically the challenge on this one is New South Wales hasn't actually held it for about 15 years. So we're really excited to bring it back here, and we wish we could promise that there's not going to be any border closures, but we will try to work with you as well as we can with that. And we've got a great cancellation policy there in case you're worried about that. But yes, this conference has been rejigged a little bit, obviously in light of what we've gone through in the last 18 or so months. And the learnings out of that. So what I thought I'd do, I'd just help you navigate through the website very quickly and give you a bit of a flavour for this event. So as you can see there, it's being held at the Fairmont Resort and Spa in Lura, and if you haven't been, what you see there is not dissimilar to the view that you get from the conference room. So just simply being there is going to be experience enough. But here we have a bit of a brief on who actually attends the conference. So if you're in the outdoor ed space, you might already know of this event, but we actually have quite a few program providers, activity providers that come along here to network with the schools, but also to get some of the best practice in outdoor ed as well. There's quite a lot of academics that come along to this, as well as tertiary education providers such as the TAFEs. We have a great volunteer system as well, so we're engaging our TAFE partners and our education partners in bringing some of their students through the conference as volunteers, so they get a taste of the industry, network with the likes of all of you, and be part of it. So I thought the easiest way to get a feel for it is actually the program itself. And you can see by the huge program that we have that it certainly has something for everyone. And I must admit, being a conference organizer in the past, an event manager, I was flabbergasted with how many concurrent sessions we have. So I'm looking forward to navigating you through the corridors to find your right room. But when we do get there, there's going to be some great topics on offer and some amazing skills in the speakers that have been successful in coming. One of those is actually on your screen, Mr. Courtney. So we have pre-conference workshops. These are not part of the conference package. These are additional, but they are around topics where we've certainly gauged from previous attendees and current attendees that these are areas that they want to look at. That comes into incident controls, and some of you may know the name Claire Dallett. So she is all things risk and safety when it comes to the outdoors, and she's running a great pre-conference workshop on that topic. Nature play. So Parsi is one of our keynote speakers, Parsi Selberg, and will certainly deliver an awesome keynote, but he's also offered to do a pre-conference workshop. So if you want to get up close and up front with him on nature play with Christian from Botanic Gardens and Amanda Lloyd, who was my predecessor at Outdoors New South Wales. And then the third pre-conference is Mark Collard, which is around the art and science of experimental learning. So again, in that outdoor learning space. So that is additional to the conference. You can see the conference starts at 3:30 on that Tuesday and concludes pretty much on the information side on Thursday night. And then Friday is open to you to explore the Blue Mountains and be part of what is an outdoor mecca playground in the Blueies. So we'll have some ideas of what you can do that day. So there you have it. It's quite jam-packed, a lot around learnings out of some of the challenges of COVID and floods and bushfires, but all really great takeaways that you can look to adapt to your circumstance. Some of the other keynote speakers, we have only two that won't be in the room with us, and they'll be coming from Canada, which is Deb Ajengo and Tom Potter, who again are very experienced, and Tom is bringing his daughter Stephanie, who is also an emerging leader in this space. So the only two that we're sort of Skyping in, but they will be live into the conference. But other than that, this is face-to-face. We get to network with our colleagues for 2.5 days and then have fun on the fourth day on the outdoor playground that is the Blue Mountains. Happy to take questions. Early bird rates close in 12 days. So if you want to get in and have those savings, you need to get in before the 30th of June.
So 11 days, 12 hours and 45 minutes and so many seconds.
20 seconds.
20 seconds before early bird rates close.
That's it.
So as you said, there are refund options as far as if the world of COVID does interfere. Yeah, and yeah, I guess the other one is looking at the accommodation options, which is there are accommodation options associated at the venue and in the Blue Mountains.
Absolutely. So we do have there's a page on our website that can take you straight to the Destination New South Wales page for Lura and gives you a whole lot of different options to stay if you don't want to stay actually at the Fairmont. And we actually have some campgrounds that have been put into the mix due to popular demand. So if you want to camp up there as well, you won't have snow like you did last week because it'll be September, it'll be beautiful. So that's an option as well.
Did you have snow in the Blue Mountains last week?
Yes.
Crikey. Okay, that's, you know, that scares Queenslanders.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Okay, erase that part.
Okay, we'll take that out of the recording if you like. But yeah, thank you very much, Laurie. Does anyone have any questions for Laurie about the Outdoor Ed Conference? Questions, comments?
I answered all of them, obviously.
Yeah, the website does have a lot of information. That program is pretty amazing. You know, I'm there in the last day, but the rest of it, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be the hardest thing is actually picking what sessions people are going to go to, I think, because there's a lot of really good options.
Oh, And Dom, I forgot to mention with the National Outdoor Education Awards, the winners of each state will be announced at the dinner at the Hydro Majestic on the Wednesday night, but the overall winners will be announced on Thursday afternoon at the conference.
Way to build tension. Nice. Nice. Okay. Lovely. Oh, thanks, Laurie. So the New South Wales State Awards are being announced on the Wednesday evening, or is that all the state awards?
All state awards. So whoever won the state level will be announced at the dinner.
Yeah, right.
And then they all compete, obviously, for the national, which will be announced on the Thursday afternoon.
Okay. A bit like the Australia Day Awards, which we know should be won by Queensland every year, just like this, but for some political reasons, they tend to share it around a bit.
I could say it was New South Wales that should get it, but
You could.
So, Laurie, I've got a question about the awards then. Are the national awards nominated separately, or are they just the recipients of the state awards automatically go into the same category for a national award recognition?
okay, the quick answer to that is each state runs their own awards, and they might announce them different times. But on that night, we'll be showcasing the content of those. If they haven't been announced, they'll be announced that night. If they have been announced, we'll showcase the content of that winner. But then they compete, all those winners compete for the national awards, which will only be released on the Thursday afternoon.
And is is the OTA making the determinations on those awards, or is it a different process?
No, it's OEA.
Oh, OEA, sorry.
Yes, OEA determine these awards. So all I'm doing is creating the platform for them to announce it, and they create the judging component.
So I think that's a bit like me and the Outdoors Queensland Awards. I don't have to be a judge, neither does Laurie. So it's Outdoor Education Australia in relation to the national ones, and the OEAQ or the various state organisations will do the judging in relation to each state lot of awards. So
Correct. And like everything, there's little anomalies in each state and different ways they do things. But at the end of the day, the national ones will be consistent on the Thursday.
terrific. Cool. Any other questions or queries, comments for Laurie? I think we've covered it. Lovely. Thank you very much, Laurie. So what have we got? 101 days and 12 days before the early bird rate finishes on the 30th of June. Awesome. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I think there will be a contingent of Queenslanders heading south and trying to avoid snow to the Blue Mountains in October and September. I don't think there'll be too much snow, but yeah, looking forward to it. So thank you very much for joining us and sharing that info with us. All right. If you want to unshare your screen, unless you want to keep being the host.
I should be unshared.
All right. Well, I don't even know if I need to share my screen. I'm going to throw over to Michelle from Parkinsons Queensland, and Michelle's just started sharing her screen, and to give us a bit of an intro. Lovely. Over to you, Michelle, and welcome. Can't hear you yet. Don't know.
There you go. I just needed to, I needed my mouse to catch up with me. I'm here. Firstly, I would like to ask how many people are impacted by Parkinson's disease? Living with, know somebody, knew somebody, passed somebody in the street you're pretty sure has Parkinson's? Yeah. I guess when we start to look at Parkinson's, I'm just going to look at a couple of the myths around it, and then I'll get into why on earth I'm on this presentation. But some of the facts and the myths around it. So currently we know this is actually probably pushing more like 19,000 Queenslanders that have been diagnosed. It is not a tracked disease, so we don't know the exact data, and of course it's one of those conditions that people aren't going to share and announce, especially in their early diagnosis. So it's really difficult to have an accurate figure on that, but that's what we're playing with. But what that equates to is that by the time we finish here, there is going to be more than one person diagnosed with this condition. It is the second most common neurological condition to Alzheimer's. Worldwide, though, it is the fastest growing. So we're trying, there is no cure for it, but it does impact on people's lives in a lot of ways. This is usually what people think about when they think about Parkinson's disease. We think about those really critical symptoms that people experience, and that's those tremors, the muscle rigidity, postural instability. What we don't announce and aren't aware of is all of these other things that are underlying those, or these are the little tiny symptoms people are showing. 3 of the most common symptoms that people get diagnosed from are their handwriting shrinks and gets cramped, and we're not just talking about doctors, but their handwriting changes and they lose their sense of smell or their sense of taste. Far removed for what our stereotypical impression of Parkinson's is. And as you can imagine, just because your handwriting's shrinking does not mean you can't get out there and have a full quality of life. What will happen though is they will progressively acquire more symptoms, and this disease will progressively reduce their quality of life. Every single person will experience Parkinson's differently, and every single person will get to a stage where they more than likely will die from a complication associated with their Parkinson's symptoms. Parkinson's doesn't kill you, but the complications and the impact on the body that are caused by Parkinson's certainly do flare up some really bad consequences for them. However, that could take a few years or that could take a lifetime. Currently, our youngest member that has Parkinson's is 19 years of age, and we have them up until their 90s. Now, just to pull out a celebrity case, Michael J. Fox took 7 years to announce that he had Parkinson's, and he worked his little butt off producing, starring in movies through that entire thing because he knew his symptoms and he knew how to hide them. So he was displaying symptoms of Parkinson's disease right in front of us on the screen, and we didn't even know it because he was learning to hide it. And that is the population that we're talking about. We've got people out there that still want to live a quality life. Now, the one thing that everyone is told when they're diagnosed with Parkinson's is get out and keep active. If you're not active, get active. If there is not one diagnosis that is given to or one recommendation given to every single one of them, that is don't stop moving. Because it has been proven beyond doubt that moving slows down the impact of the symptoms. It will slow the progress of their symptoms. It will not remove the disease. We cannot address the disease because we don't know what completely causes it other than lack of dopamine in the brain, but we do know how to slow down the progress of those symptoms. Now, in the world of Parkinson's, the neurologists, the OTs, the physios, they're all telling them to get out and get active. And there's PD warrior, non-contact boxing, there's yoga, there's Pilates. But if you're a person that wants more than that, we need to start to look at a broader scope of capacity for them to get out and be more active. And that's why I'm kind of calling on the outdoor world to say, hey, think about this population. There's a lot of them. They're growing en masse. For every one person who is living with Parkinson's, there is at least 7 people around them that are impacted by it, which means there's a group of 8 people that all should be trying to stay active, not only for their own good, but we know that if there's a group mentality, that person in the middle will actually it'll stick more. If you've got mates walking with you, then it's going to stick more. Now, people with Parkinson's that still have those mobility and that that physical capacity still can get out and do a lot more activities than just limited, what would be recognised as seniors adapted exercise classes. And we have a dedicated group called the Young Onset Parkinson's Group. Now, this is probably the only club where if you're under 50, you're classified as young, because that is young in a diagnosis, but we are finding 55 to 65-year-olds a big bracket of people being diagnosed. And I just clicked over that 50 and I'm not ready to slow up. So I want to still know that I can get out and do stuff. So the impact of Parkinson's on the well-being, the physical, but also that well-being stuff is not just about the person with Parkinson's. It's about their little tribe and their support network. And I'd really love to see, when you're thinking about initiatives, think about, is there something we can do? The fellows you see on screen here, this is Joe Kelly, the MP, if anyone is in the Holland Park area, and his brother Vince. Now, they have lost their father to Parkinson's, and now they have their mother in a home suffering from Parkinson's. They're 2 of 7 kids. So they're sitting there wondering which one, because there is a case where it's genetically linked, but mostly it's unknown why people develop it. But these guys decided that they were going to get out and about earlier this year, and I'm not sure if anyone heard about the really big walk. They decided to leave Joe's office in Greenslopes and they walked to visit their mum in Coolum. So they took 9 days to wander up. They crossed a lake, so they went on stand-up paddle boards. Every one of those 9 days, they ran into somebody else that was impacted by Parkinson's. But every time they were out walking or they were in the bush, they crossed paths with people as they walked through over the range. And it's those sort of initiatives. They're also joined by a lot of the people impacted by Parkinson's on different bits of the walk. Gosh knows what they've set their sights for next year, but we'll be there doing something else crazy. But what they were demonstrating is that there's a great value. I do not need to sell the concept to you that if you have to exercise and you're going to do it out in nature and you're going to challenge yourself, you're going to definitely have a much greater impact than in a group, in a gym, in a bland room doing some repetitive motion exercises. I want to get these guys out of that environment and give them some alternatives. So I want to plant a seed for you to actually just think about, well, what can you do? Parkinson's Queensland is here. We're backing research, we're backing promotion and advocacy for these people who can't necessarily speak for themselves. And certainly we are looking at those collaborations. We, like all of you, are not heavily funded. We get very little in government support, but we do what we can with our little band of 5 people and a big title and a massive member base that we have to serve. So I guess I would like you just to stop and think about this sector of our community. You can put them in that special populations, people with disabilities, people impacted by chronic illnesses, and stop and think, well, what could your activity, what could your group, or what could your local little group do? And please let us know, because we'd love to put more people on the map. We have a map on our website that has anyone can jump on and find something to do. And we've got newsletters. I'm out there shouting it out to our 32 support groups across the state. We're online with some other forums, and I'd really like to see some alternatives to offer them. And if you do need some help, to reach out to us and we'll help you. So that's all I've really got to say. I just wanted to plant some seeds in your head, and I hope I have. And we're not just thinking about these little tremors and thinking that everyone with Parkinson's is a bit shaky, because they're really not.
Thanks, Michelle. A couple of questions, and happy to, if anyone else wants to ask Michelle a question, I've got a couple. So is Parkinsons Queensland happy, like you're talking the organisations that can add their details, non-profits, businesses?
Yeah, you've got a local event. You've got a, yeah, anyone can if you're going to offer something that somebody with Parkinson's could benefit from, let us know. And we can start to sell it, and that's across the whole state.
Terrific. Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Michelle? I should have said at the start, Michelle's had a long engagement with Corf and Outdoors Queensland. Formerly worked just upstairs in our building some time ago, and also worked at Volunteering Queensland. So and now is at Parkinsons Queensland. I should have done the proper intro, but
no, that's fine.
Michelle,
if you try and drag out my history, it gets really. Most people, if you knew me as Michelle Lindley, but I decided to settle down. No, I didn't. I just dragged a guy along with me and pinched his name.
Fair enough. I did see. I was just looking in the comments there. Mark shared the link to the website, the Parkinsons Queensland website. Matthew did ask for your email contact. So Matthew's from Nature Freedom, and Matthew runs a lot of outdoor activities and in different places, paddling, bushwalking, and does other activities as part of Nature Freedom. So are you happy for us to share?
I'll just I'll stick it into the chat box if you want.
That'd be great.
I'll type it in, and then you can all hound me.
Yep, no worries. And also, while you're doing that, Andrew Grant's just put a comment there that one of his stuff, so Andrew's from QCCC, Queensland, I'm going to get it wrong now, that's terrible, camping and convention centres. One of the staff wives has started up Restoring Hope Parkinson's Therapy. Is that up?
She sells the honey in Nambour. Am I right?
Andrew?
She sells a lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Often from our kitchens, yes.
I'm actually heading up to the group in a couple of weeks up in Nambour.
Great.
And I'm hoping I'm crossing her path. They told me to come back with honey, and then I had to break the news that my dad's a beekeeper.
Well, maybe you could be supplying it, Michelle.
I'm trying to get him to downsize, because, as Andrew would probably protest and anyone else, it's not a lightweight role hobby.
No, but it's good because he's getting outdoors and he's being active, and that will therefore reduce the onset of Parkinson's, Michelle.
Yeah, you know, how about he just help my mum out, who's a crumbling carer? I'm playing devil's advocate.
Michelle, we are recording this, and it will be posted on our website for your parents to view later.
That's all right. They're not that tech savvy. I'm all good. Definitely, Andrew, that is, I've absolutely heard some phenomenal stuff. So kudos for what she's doing.
Yeah, I thought you might just be interested that there is that sort of link there. Like, she lives on our property up here at Mapleton, so she's very well aware of outdoor ed. So
we actually I was trying to squeeze in a visit, but time's going to get away from me. Getting from 8 Mile Plains to Nambour is enough. But yeah, thank you, Andrew. I'm going to make a point of hunting you down some stage. Or,
no worries.
Yeah, you'll start. Yeah.
Terrific. And Michelle, Laurie, who's from Outdoors New South Wales and ACT, has also asked if you have a contact for your counterpart down in the southern state/territory realm.
Yeah, certainly. And they've got more money. So they can do a lot more than we can. But Laurie, if you want to just send me an email, and then I'll respond to you and share that. Certainly.
Terrific. Awesome. Does anyone else have any other questions or comments for Michelle? I'd just like to really say thank you very much for joining us. I think it's a really good opportunity to think about what the services we offer and the benefits that we can offer to more and more people. It's an opportunity to do more good things, and also, you know, expand the reach of the outdoor sector. So really appreciate you coming on to speak to us today, Michelle.
And I'd rather see, you know, there is opportunities for us to do stuff, and it always ends up heading towards fitness gyms. And, yeah, that doesn't rock my world. So, or a lot of the members. Thank you so much for giving me that time.
No worries at all, Michelle. Thank you very much. Just as a final footnote, Outdoors Queensland's also about to start the Great Getaways Queensland program. So that one's it is for people, Mark doesn't like me saying this, but it's for older people, which is aimed at 55 and up. I can say that with a smile because I'm not quite in that category yet, but I realise that time keeps ticking and I will be soon enough. So, and then I'll be able to attend. But yeah, and those programs are for people over 55. We're going to get that rolling in the next little while. So we've been lucky enough to get some government funding to launch that. We haven't formally announced it yet because we haven't got all the paperwork signed off yet, but that's coming soon. So I think there's an opportunity straight away there to, those will be open to anyone to come along, but if you'd like to promote those, we'll give you the details once we get them up and running. And yeah, I think there could be some really good opportunities to collaborate right across the sector, but I'd like for us to be involved in that as well. So thank you very much. So if you can unshare, I think you have you? Am I back to sharing? Just bear with me for a moment.
Should be all yours.
Righto. Thanks, Michelle. Thank you very much. There's my little slide I prepared for you earlier. So, another one that I did want to discuss, and I'm hoping you can all see that one. There's been a safety alert come out through Highgate Group. This is relevant to anyone with ropes or challenge courses. So this safety alert came out this week from Highgate. You see it's got 15th of June on it. And it's about these strand-wise gadgets. So the device, it's from an American manufacturer. So I just wanted to flag this. We will get some more information out there about it. But yeah, this has been issued by Highgate, who are based in New South Wales, and I'm guessing some of you would have used them at some point. But these strand-wise devices, the manufacturer in this safety alert says they've updated their guidance on the use of dead-end devices on ropes courses, particularly on critical and lifelines. And their key messages from the manufacturer, which it says there on the screen, are that the product's not designed to be used in that manner, with or without a backup. They do not support the ongoing use of the device on ropes challenge courses, and the product will no longer be available for sale to the challenge course industry by the manufacturer. And Highgate's then, you'll see on the right-hand side of the screen there, they've put the actions to be taken. And their first one is just confirm whether your ropes course has strand-wise in place and how many. And they're saying if the course doesn't have any, no further action, which makes sense. But if your course has them, contact your course inspector or maintenance provider and discuss options. So I just wanted to flag that. Mark's sent an email off to Highgate about this just to check on it, but he's also just shared the advice from the manufacturer, which is Hubble, which there's a letter on their website, which is their letter basically to the industry. And this has come out because Highgate's taken the proactive step of issuing this safety alert. Does anyone have any questions or comments on this one? You might know more about it than I do. I literally found out about it through an email, and I just wanted to flag it, particularly for the outdoor ed operators who might have ropes courses, challenge courses, and yeah, I just wanted to make sure people are aware of this one. Any comments, questions? As I say, I literally am reading that stuff off that alert. I don't know much more than that about it yet, but hoping to find out a bit more. Yeah, Dave?
Dom, I'm a ropes course guy. The Association of Challenge Course Technology, which is the peer industry group globally, realistically, had a release, and I put the link in the chat a little while back about this as well, which gives more details. And I think these strand-wise issues have been actually prevalent and have been aware a little bit longer in the industry than maybe this current advisory. But yeah, I still see them on ropes courses in Australia all the time.
Yeah, I think that's part of the idea of getting this out there. I think they specifically say, it says there that they shouldn't be used. It says in particular on critical and lifelines, but then they actually do also say they don't support the use of this device on ropes challenge courses. They don't say when used in critical or lifelines. So I think reading between the lines, they're basically saying that Highgate's saying they're going to review the use of these in any challenge course designs. So yeah, so that's seems to be the message. Does anyone else have a comment on this one? I guess the actions really make sense. Contact your course inspector or maintenance provider and work out what you're going to do if you do have them in place. All good? Cool. All right. So we will send out some more information about that once we have it as well. Mark's working away on that. Andrew Morgan from Scouts Queensland was going to join us today, but as I said, he's going to join us in a fortnight's time. So I just wanted to flag that. And yeah, so that's looking forward to having Andrew join us to go through that with us in relation to the Scouts Queensland offerings. And if any of you have any offerings that you want to promote through these sessions, more than happy, please get in touch with us. So just let us know. We're also lining up to have Gavin join us to talk about the Gondwana trail from Sydney to Brisbane, hopefully at our next session. So that'll be good too. So I'm just gonna get everything sorted for that one, Gavin, and hopefully we can go from there. A few reminders. I just wanted to throw these ones out there. These are things we've talked about before mostly. The OTM National Trek Day, Outdoors Queensland, we're putting a team in there. And when it's a team, it's not a race, it's literally a trek. And the funds raised for that go to supporting first responders and return service people with development of resilience and mental health. That's what Trek to Health is all about. So we are doing the National Trek Day this Sunday as a group, and you can actually donate to our team if you'd like to do that. So donations are open on their website. So if you'd like to have a look at that, please do. There's no pressure at all, but I just thought I'd mention that it is about money going to Trek to Health, which then provide those services to people who may need it. They basically run a pretty cool program, so I just wanted to mention that one. Inside the outhouse, Mark's just shared some information on the Trek to Health as well, just there. And David's just plonked in the chat a bit of a burning question there. Did you want to talk to that, David? You've got time? So,
just really quickly, we're going to jump back into the tertiary sector. Burning question for next Monday, are we on track or off track? Navigating the qualifications pathways. Matthew Cox from Victoria University is going to come and speak. He's running, I think, their outdoor recreation or education program down in Victoria, and we're chasing other industry types who'd love to come in and just share what's going on. There's a big boom, I know, on the Sunshine Coast with the outdoor recreation degree course that I'm currently in, and TAFE is going great guns. I'm hearing that from people who are actually in the field. But we'd love to hear if you're a young future career aspirant to be in the outdoors, you're looking to work out where the qualifications are, what I need to do, jump into the outhouse at 6:13 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and we'll have a chat.
Terrific. Thanks, David. I'm going to try to join that session as well. Looks like an interesting topic. So lovely. Thanks, mate. The other couple of things there, the 2021 Australian Livability Census, that closes 30th of June. So that's an online survey basically about your neighbourhood. Mark from Camp Kirby just bailed. He said he's got a school visit just arrived. So yeah, it's the Australian Livability Census. Have a look at that one to provide feedback on your neighbourhood and how livable it is and how it could be better. The Australian Curriculum Review Community Consultation is a little bit later. It closes 8th of July. So I'm going to see if we can't get someone to come and speak to us about that for next time, maybe from ACARA. But that's an important piece of work, and part of that is making sure that outdoor education, outdoor activities is included in the national curriculum. So we'll just see how we go with that one as well. And yeah, but feel free to check out their website and make a submission or fill out their survey for that one.
Just on ACARA, they've got a session at NOEC where we're having the guys that did the review as well as the Chief Operating Officer of ACARA as well.
Yeah, see, there's another reason for the bottom dot point there for NOEC. Well done, Laurie. Yeah, and early bird rates for NOEC, as Laurie said earlier, closed 30th of June. So it's all coming into place. The other one there, I did want to do another reminder of something else I mentioned earlier, nominations for the Outdoors Queensland Awards, which will close in August, but don't wait until August, please. Let's make it hard for the judges, the board members, and there's one of them on the call today, so we'll be able to report back to the other judges that I'm saying that's all right. Active Queenslander forums in July and August, if you get a chance and you can attend one of those sessions. I'm not just saying this because I go along to some of them and I'm on the board. They are good sessions and there's some really good information, but so far it's been mostly sport and fitness organisations going to them. We have had some reps from guides and also scouts come along to some of those sessions, but not a lot across the outdoors sector. And I think the sessions that they have, there's some really practical information in those about sustainability, even financial sustainability of organisations. There's some really good stuff in those sessions, some stuff about fundraising, which no one, I think, in our industry seems to have too much money. So I think there is some really good information in there that AQIA, which used to be Skills Alliance, is actually delivering out to the sector. So yeah, just wanted to give that another plug, and they're free. Love free stuff. And the Better Futures Forum, Damon came and spoke to us a couple of weeks ago about that one, and the early bird rates for that closed 30th of June as well. So if you get a chance, I think they actually have a discount rate for not-for-profits as well. So have a look at that one too. That's in August, and it's an online forum with 90-minute sessions over 3 different days. I think there's 3 sessions per day, and you can pick and choose what sessions you want to attend if you can't attend all of them. I think the registration fee covers all of them, but you can pick and choose what sessions you want to attend in that. So that takes into account the fact that not everyone can go all day, every day for 3 days, and that's a fully online forum. So that's all about building a better future as far as the environment goes and tackling climate change. So yeah, just wanted to put that one out there as well. Does anyone have any other topics to raise, burning issues, as David mentioned before, the burning question in the inside the outhouse, but any other topics that you'd like to discuss, or even things we could delve into a bit more deeply in the future?
Dom, it was mentioned in Laurie's session at 10 o'clock from Outdoors New South Wales about, again, wilderness first aid and its relevancy to a lot of the current camps and outdoor programs happening in New South Wales, and whether or not, and I brought up the point about whether or not maybe wilderness first aid isn't as relevant, but it was more about maybe we need to be focusing more on mental health qualifications for our field staff, for our young instructors, so they understand what a mental health issue looks like, what it looks like in the field, and how to interpret that. And I was just wondering if people had an opinion from Queensland's end of the discussion.
Does anyone have a comment on that one? I mean, obviously, mental health first aid it's critical to most of what happens in the outdoors, I think, as far as that side of things. But yeah, I guess the question is that something, it seems to me that that's something that is almost expected to be developed over time rather than taken as a direct qualification or a direct course in that. And it seems to me, I guess that's a question that it's a very good question as far as its applicability. Does anyone...
Neil Ritchie was presenting about his struggles in Victoria to run courses a little bit, but he also briefly touched on the fact that he'd run some mental health first aid courses, but they weren't seen to be within the big providers where he worked and presented these, such as OEG and Outward Bound, that they weren't actually very directly relevant to our field, but the course providers for mental health first aid weren't interested in adapting their course to support the needs of the outdoor sector in what the type of areas we. So I'm paraphrasing there, and Laurie might want to jump in and change what I've said there, but I think it's something we could look at a national level, and it should be thrown into a bigger audience than just 20 people between 2 Zoom meetings on a Friday, because I think there's a lot of value in our current young people coming out of COVID or coming out of that lockdown and are having mental issues that, as a field operator, unless you've got 20 years, you don't really know how to deal with those cases. In some cases, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
You said it well. I think the challenges that that Neil was saying was, obviously he's got staff issues like everyone has at the moment, but he's finding that a lot of the people that want his services are doing the tick box, and he's saying also that that's probably not what the industry needs or should need for the future. So yeah, he was actually backing us up on that, and we decided that we wanted to take a little group away and feed it into the OCA summit in the training and pathways conversation.
Yep. No, that sounds
Can I ask if you have explored Red Cross adapting their psychological first aid training? Because they adapted that for some other sectors.
I'm not aware of the Red Cross one. I'm mental health first aid trained myself, but it was a standalone first aid.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah,
which David rightly pointed out, the merger between the two really hasn't occurred yet.
Yeah.
So sorry, Michelle, what's the Red Cross one at the moment? It's
psychological first aid, which is similar, but it's also a bit of setting an environment of safety. Sally, Dom, I'll send you through the contact, and I think she's still around, but you may be able to just ask a question and see if it's relevant, and she'll be able to tell you how that sits against that mental health first aid qual and youth mental health.
That'd be great if you can send me some details. Yeah, thank you. I've just noticed in the comments, Andrew just asked about the self-serve buffet, when that might be allowed for outdoor ed operators. I don't know is the short answer. I haven't got anything back from Queensland Health or Sport and Rec on that one. I have asked. So Laurie said it's allowed in New South Wales. I think it's allowed in every other state other than Queensland. So
it's allowed on cruise ships, isn't it?
Not if they're in Queensland waters, as far as I know.
And so is COVID, isn't it?
No, mate, it's not allowed. It just seems to thrive there, unfortunately, or it did in the past. I think our cruise ship industry is trying to deal with it. Yes. Laurie is trying to get us to go to New South Wales to have a buffet at NOEC, obviously, but yeah, there will literally the AQAA forums that I've been going to lately, and they're held in different venues. They have a staff member there serving the lunch or dinner at each one of those. That's another reason to go to those forums. You do get a free dinner, but they always have a staff member there serving everything, including cups of coffee. So it isn't, it's not just the outdoor sector, it's all areas in Queensland. There still is not buffet service allowed in that space. And I guess it's when the Chief Health Officer decides that that they're comfortable with making that change. Yeah. Are there any other questions, comments, topics? The next session is Friday, the 2nd of July, so in a fortnight, and it will be July, strangely enough. There's a lot of resources on our website. If you need anything, please contact us. If you come up with a terrific topic for a future edition of this session, or even for Inside the Outhouse, I know that David and the other orators are always looking for ideas and guest speakers, just like I am. So feel free to contact us or contact Inside the Outhouse, or Laurie if you've got one for Outdoors New South Wales and ACT. Have a look at our website. There's heaps of information on there. Mark and Christy are doing a terrific job of that. We will get some more information out if we hear anything about the changes to the industry plans. We'll certainly let you know, whether it's a bulletin or on our social media. But that's about it, unless anyone has any other topics for today. We get a 5-minute chance to finish 5 minutes early, so you can have a look at the Outdoors Queensland Awards nominations, spend 5 minutes on that, familiarising yourselves, and then
Or book for NOAC.
Or book for NOAC. Yeah, there's look, you got 5 minutes. You can do a lot in 5 minutes, Laurie. Everyone knows that. So I'm going to sign off with my tagline I've sort of borrowed and adapted from one of my favourite podcasts, which is look after yourselves, and if you can, look after others and the planet. So we'll see you next time.